everybody and welcome back to the Blossom Crochet channel. In this tutorial I will be showing you how to create this really beautiful lacy stitch. So it's a really wonderful one for making up a scarf, but also it really would make the most beautiful blankets as well. So obviously you can adjust the foundation chain to suit whatever type of project you want to create, but it's just made up using one stitch for the whole of the project, but it looks really intricate and really beautiful. I think it's a really lovely one to make. It is pretty mindless and it is also just a one row repeat, which is always lovely. So I will show you step by step how to make this and also how to add a nice flat border to the top so that you can finish off ready to add whatever border you want to. But like I say, you can just adjust the foundation chain to make a scarf, or you can use it to make a table runner like this. I think this would be beautiful as a Christmas table runner, or you can just use it for a blanket. So you can obviously use absolutely any yarn that you wish and just use whatever hook size your selected yarn recommends. So this one, for example, I was using the recommended 5mm hook. So you're going to complete a foundation chain and you want this foundation chain to be in a multiple of 7. So you'll do sets of 7 until it is as wide as you want it to be. So yarn over, pull through, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So if you just complete your foundation chain in a multiple of 7. Okay, so I've done a chain of 28 here, which would be a really nice width for a scarf. But once you've completed your groups of 7, you want to add an additional 4 chains onto the end of that chain. Now for the entirety of this project we're going to be using UK trebles, but obviously in the US these are called your double crochets. So whenever you hear me say treble, if you're used to US terms, then just think double. So we're going to start in the 4th chain from the hook. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and this is our 4th chain just here. You'll yarn over, insert into that 4th chain, yarn over and pull up, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You're then going to skip 2 chains, so you're going to skip 1 and 2, and then into this 3rd chain we're going to be working the first of our shell stitch. So you'll yarn over and you'll do 3 trebles all into this same chain. So that's 1, again back in the same chain, that's 2 and 1 more, that's 3. You then want to chain 1 and then back into that same chain you're going to put another 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. And then again you'll skip 2 chains and then you'll work 1 treble into the next 2 chains. So skip 2 and then 1 treble and then 1 treble into the next chain as well. And then again you'll skip 2 and work your shell into the 3rd. So you'll do 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles back in that same chain, and then again skip 2 chains and then 1 treble into the following 2 chains. So skip 2, 1 treble and then 1 treble into the next chain, and you'll repeat that all the way along your foundation chain, and I will meet you at the other end in just a second. So I've completed my final shell and then you should have 4 chains left. So as usual we will skip 2 and then we'll work 1 treble into each of those last 2 chains. So skip 2 and then you should be finishing with 1 treble into your last 2 chains. So that is how you should be looking at this point. As I said, that 28 plus 4 is a really nice width for a scarf. So at this point you can either chain 2 and turn, or you can do what I will do, and I'm going to turn my work around and then straight into this very first stitch here where you can see we've got our working end. You'll insert your hook straight into that stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both, and then you'll go behind the left vertical post, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through two, and that gives you that treble height stitch but without any gapping that you would get from using a chain. You're then going to put one treble into the top of the next stitch because obviously we've worked the top of this one, so then you want a treble into the top of the next stitch. We're always going to be working through the whole of the stitch, so you'll complete your treble and then you're going to be working into your shell. So we're always going to work into the chain one spaces between our groups of 3 trebles. So into that chain one space you will do a new shell. So you'll do your 3 trebles, chain one, and then back in that same chain one space you'll do your other half of your shell. And then you're going to skip to your 2 trebles. So you'll skip the other half of your shell and then you'll put 1 treble into the top of each of these trebles. And then again you'll work in that center chain one of your shell by doing your new shell. So 3 trebles, chain one, and 3 trebles back in that same space. And then again you'll skip to your 2 trebles here and you'll put 1 treble into the top of each of those stitches. And so you'll repeat that all the way towards the end, and that's where I'll meet you in just a second. So I've completed my final shell and then I've got these 2 stitches left to work into. So I've got the top of this normal treble here and then I've got those skipped chains. So I will work my 2 trebles, so I'll do 1 into the top of that final proper treble and then I'm going to do 1 into the top of those skipped chains. So it doesn't really matter exactly where you put your hook, but just make sure it's near the top of those skipped chains from the foundation row. Okay, so that is how you should look now. I'm going to just do 1 more row with you and then I will show you how to square off your finished project. So again, you'll turn and you can either chain 2 or you'll do your chunky little stitch by inserting your hook straight into this space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both, and then behind the left post of that stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then 1 treble into the top of the next treble. So you've got your 2 trebles there. And then you'll skip to your chain 1 space of your shell and complete your new shell by doing your 3 trebles, chain 1, and 3 trebles all in that space. And then you'll skip to your 2 trebles and you'll put 1 treble into the top of each of those 2 stitches. So that's 1 and 2. And then you're ready again to work in the center chain 1 of that shell. And again, you'll repeat that all the way along and I'll meet you as you get to the end. So again, I've worked my final shell and then I've got these 2 stitches left here to work into. So I've got the top of this treble here and then the top of that little turning stitch that we did. So I'll work the top of the normal treble and then your final stitch will go through the top of that very last stitch. If you're not 100% confident at keeping your edges straight, then I would highly recommend putting a stitch marker into the top of that turning stitch so that each time you work back along your row you'll know exactly where that final stitch needs to go. So you can see we're starting to build up that lovely pattern now. So I'm just going to work up a couple of rows and then I will show you how we're going to flatten off this top edge. So once you're at the point that you want to start levelling off this top edge to make a nice flat round to start your border on, you'll turn your work as normal and you'll work these 2 trebles as normal. So you'll do your treble height stitch as you have been doing, and then 1 treble into the next stitch as well. And then at this point I'm going to chain 2, and then into the top of that shell, so into that chain 1 space, I'm going to put a UK double or a US single. So I'll insert my hook, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to work a treble into our 2 trebles as normal. 1 and 2, chain 2, and then UK double into that chain 1 in the middle of your shell, and then again chain 2 and 2 trebles, so 1 into each of those 2 trebles as normal, and you'll repeat that all the way along until you get towards the end, and then you'll work your final chain 2, and then you'll do your 2 trebles as normal into those end stitches. And you can see that just gives you a straight top edge now that you will be able to start building up your border onto. So obviously I always put a round of UK doubles around any project that I have before I start working up any border rows, just to give it a nice frame. And so then you'll be able to do that by working double crochets into the top of your trebles, and then 2 doubles into your chain 2 spaces, and a double into the top of your centre double that you've done on your shell, and that will just give you a nice straight edge all the way around. So that is it for this tutorial. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. But I will see you for a normal tutorial really soon. But thank you as always for watching, and bye for now.